made the tweet that says men don't have an issue with sexual discipline. A lot of y'all just want them to only have sex with you when you feel like having sex. And if you ever thought I wasn't discussing consenting adults, you, my dear, probably need to step out the conversation, go get some therapy, or wait and ask some more questions. As far as I'm concerned, for a group of people who have centered majority of our history alone around sexual expression aside from oppression, it's quite funny how we always want to bash men and tell them that they can't control their tendencies when we want to be able to do it whenever, however, with whoever we want out loud and not be ridiculed about. Sex shaming and sexual discipline are not the same thing, and even Oxford would agree with me, because per the definition, discipline is defined as either punishment or people obeying a code or rules of behavior. Even numbers agree with me. There are more men who are not sexually active and actually virgins on count than there are women. And I'm not saying that women lack sexual discipline. What I am saying is sexual discipline is a myth, and it really just doesn't exist. It's something that we made up in order to dick police men, because you're basically saying, I know you're getting erect, but I don't want you to use your penis to sleep with other people, even though it's going to satisfy you. I want you to save it to please me when I get ready. And that sounds insane. The art of sexual discipline when it comes to men is really not a thing, because women spend majority of their time telling you, it's my body, it's my choice. I sleep with who I want to sleep with. And if that's the case, then we should be applying the same rules to men, not trying to make it seem like they cannot refrain from having sex, when in reality, most men are not getting sex. And if they are, they're not getting it the way they want. Check the marriage and divorce rates. For the ones in the back who are always talking about, I don't want to have sex because I don't want to catch an STD or STI, you're not actually practicing restraint from sex. You're practicing restraint because you are fear-mongered out of having sex. Has nothing to do with you actually being disciplined. In regards to the people who keep saying, oh, well, he make multiple baby mamas, this, that, and the third, it's a morally subjective argument. Sex is the act of producing babies. The sex was intentional. The babies are a consequence of the sex. So even with that, there is no sexual discipline being lacked in the context of two consenting adults creating a child. I didn't think I would have to tell y'all that, but apparently that I do. For my sexual addiction people, imagine somebody telling you, you have sex too much. I think something wrong with you because of how much you choose to have sex, because you should not be having sex the way that I think you should be having sex. Actually, having a lot of sex is healthy for you. So I personally do not adhere to the fact of sexual addiction or nymphomaniacs. And I'll say y'all favorite bullet point for last, which is the cheating, because you kept mentioning this and I never brought it up. But since we're here, it doesn't actually represent a lack of discipline. It actually represents a lack of integrity, because you take a oral vow with a person. And if you break that vow, if it's supposed to be monogamous, that means you're just dishonest. But you actually going to say, hey, I'm about to go relieve myself with the person that I'm attracted to. It's not a lack of sexual discipline. What that really goes to show is, if you're used to having multiple sexual partners and you went to one sexual partner, that is where you would get restraint. Still not defined by discipline. So at the basis of this argument, majority of y'all are just taking moral standing grounds, and morals are fickle. They do not apply to everybody. Sexual discipline is a myth.